Your hands might be free, but your nervous system is still in the building. And if you've ever asked yourself, why didn't I just leave? I need you to hear this. Your body was following a survival protocol that God designed. An abusive system exploited it. That is not your failure. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what was happening in your brain and your body that kept you there. And I'm going to give you a way out that doesn't start with guilt. It starts with science and it ends with scripture. If you've been listening for a while, I see you and I'm glad that you're back. And if you're new here, welcome home. The single most common question I hear in my counseling practice and your comments and every documentary about spiritual abuse is some version of, how did I not see it? Why didn't I just walk away? And the shame in that question, it's heavy because the implication is that staying was a choice, that you were weak, that you should have known better. Nothing is wrong with you. Your body was doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's just stuck. But here's what I need you to understand. Staying wasn't a character flaw. Staying was survival response. The same one that keeps a child attached to an unpredictable parent. The same one that made the Israelites want to go back to slavery. And we're going to talk about all of it. Today's episode is practical, clinical, but pastoral. So stay with me. You've heard of fight, flight, and freeze, but the fourth survival response, the one almost no one talks about in church, is fawn. Fawn is the survival strategy where you comply, you appease, you become what the abuser needs you to be, not because you're weak, but because your nervous system has calculated that compliance is the safest path to survival. Your vagus nerve, that wandering nerve that connects your brain to every major organ, it's scanning for safety every 4 seconds. And when it determines that fighting will get you hurt, fleeing will get you abandoned, and freezing will make you a target, it defaults to fawn. It makes you agreeable. It makes you useful. It makes you loyal. This isn't weakness. This is a nervous system doing exactly what God designed it to. Keep you alive until safety arrives. Now, layer that on top of that trauma bonding. A trauma bond forms when someone alternates between harm and care, punishment and tenderness, in an unpredictable cycle. And every time the harm stops and the kindness comes, your brain releases a surge of dopamine and oxytocin. That hit of relief, it's not love, it's neurochemistry, but your brain can't tell the difference. This is why you just keep going back. This is why you kept believing the apology. Your body was chemically tethered to the very person harming you. And every cycle, reinforce the bond, not because you were foolish, but because your survival brain was being rewarded for staying. And then there's the parasocial attachment to the leader. In high control religious systems, the leader doesn't just have authority, they become your emotional world. You don't just follow them, you need them. Your nervous system registers their approval as safety and their disapproval as danger. So leaving isn't just walking out the door. Leaving is a threat to your entire survival map. Your body reads leaving the same way it would read walking into traffic. That's why it felt impossible. Not because you lacked courage, but because your nervous system was doing its job, protecting you from what it had been conditioned to believe was certain danger. Let your nervous system hear that you are not running from it. We're about to retrain it. And this is where the neuroscience meets the text. Because this pattern, this captivity response, it's not new, it's ancient. In Exodus 16, the Israelites are free. They've been delivered from Egypt. They've walked through the Red Sea. And what do they say? They wanted to go back to slavery, to the system that broke them. Why? Because slavery was predictable. Slavery meant you knew what was coming. You knew what was expected. You knew who you were. Freedom? Freedom is terrifying when your nervous system has only ever known captivity. That wasn't failure. That was the fawn response in the wilderness. Their bodies were free and their nervous systems were still in Egypt. God didn't shame them for it. He provided manna. He provided structure. He provided a new rhythm because he understood what your abuser never did. A dysregulated nervous system doesn't need a sermon. It needs safety. Knowledge isn't just power for trauma survivors. Knowledge is safety. So here's what we do with this. Here is the protocol. Before you can even think about leaving a relationship, a system, a church, your nervous system has to believe it's safe enough to move. You start with regulation, vagal humming, cold water on your wrists, long, slow exhales. This isn't visualization. This is physiology. You are physically signaling to your vagus nerve, we are no longer in danger. Once you're regulated enough to feel without flooding, you let your body tell the truth your mind has been editing. Where is the tension? What does your chest say when you think about going back? What does your stomach do when you imagine leaving? Your body has been keeping score. Let it speak. The captivity response was built in isolation. You were conditioned to believe no one outside the system was safe. Surrender means letting a safe person co-regulate with you, a counselor, a trusted friend, someone whose nervous system can lend yours a rhythm until yours remembers its own. Father, I am grateful that you made these bodies. You knit together the very nervous systems that we are learning to regulate. You were never meant to do this alone. Co-regulation is a weakness. It's how God designed the body to heal. Trust is the last step, not the first. You don't start by trusting yourself. You start by regulating, experiencing, surrendering, and then trust builds slowly in the body, not as a theological concept, but as a felt sense. His peace is not dependent on your circumstances being resolved. It is a regulated nervous system in the presence of a safe God. I want to guide you through something right now. It's going to take about 60 seconds, and I need you to stay with me. Put your hands on your chest. Feel your own warmth. That warmth, that's your body. It's yours. It was always yours. Take a breath in through your nose, slow, 4 counts, and out through your mouth, longer than the inhale, 6 counts. Again, in and out. Now, with your hands still on your chest, I want you to whisper or say it internally. I was not wrong for staying. I was surviving. Let your nervous system hear that you are not running from it. One more breath in and out. You're here, you're breathing, you're safe enough to hear this. And that means your nervous system is already beginning to retrain. So here's your challenge for the next 7 days. One practice. Every morning before you look at your phone, before you check a message, before you enter anyone else's emotional field, I want you to do one round of the vagal tone breath. 4 counts in, 6 counts out. 3 breaths, That's it. 3 breaths to remind your nervous system, I am no longer in captivity. I am safe enough to choose. And if this episode helped you, share it. Text it to one person you know is struggling with that question. Why didn't I leave? And let them hear the answer their body already knows. You were not foolish for staying. You were surviving. And the same God who designed your nervous system to keep you alive in captivity, he is the one teaching it how to live in freedom now. Until next time, you are not too much, you are not too far, and you are not alone.